Today we're in St. Genevieve County at Chaumette Vineyards and Winery to learn about the Chambourcin grape with winemaker Henry Johnson.
Chaumette Vineyard and Winery is out in the middle of St. Genevieve County. It's about 310 acres of property with 26 acres of fruiting grapes. Growing grapes in St. Gen is sort of a tough prospect, so we grow a lot of interspecific hybrids and interspecific crosses, which are a lot more fitted for the environment. The fruiting grapes we work with are Chambourcin, Norton, Chardonnay, Vignole, and Chaumette, and those are what we consider kind of the 5 main varietals in Missouri.
Missouri wine has a historical reputation in terms of creating the basis for American wine. In Missouri and in the rest of the middle part of America, we're reliant upon hybrid grapes. You end up with a grapevine that's a lot sturdier in terms of dealing with the harsh winters that we get here, in terms of dealing with the super humid summers that we have here. A lot of those grapevines are relatively new to the world, so we're still in the process of learning how to make good wine out of those. In some cases, in the case of like a Vidal Blanc or a Chambourcin, we're really good at it already.
Chambourcin tastes a lot like some sort of Mediterranean grapes where you get this kind of spicy, earthy, bramble fruit, but it can be so different based on how the style of winemaking leads it. We tend to lean towards drier wines at Chaumette. We do, of course, make semi-dries all the way out to sweet, but we do tend to sell a lot of our Chardonnay and our dry Chambourcin.
Chambourcin's versatility, I think, is part of why it's worked out so well. Chaumette does both dry and rosé styles, and in either case, you get this overt fruitiness. It is not a dry wine that sort of recedes into itself and you end up with texture but not a great deal of flavor. Chambourcin is always, to me, reliably, overtly fruity and fun and friendly. It's a pretty reliable grape for a lot of different foods.
And now my favorite part of these winery visits, we're actually going to do a tasting of the Chambourcins that Henry makes here at the winery. And we have a dry red, and then we have also a dry rosé. It sounds like, Chambourcin's pretty versatile because you don't just use it in these single varietal applications, you also use it as a blending grape.
Absolutely. So it can go into a variety of different sweetness levels, as well as we blend it a lot of times with Norton. They play really well together. Or even things like Chardonnay can make for an interesting blend.
So to me, this wine, it has all of those wonderful kind of characteristic rosé flavors of berries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, brambleberries, but it has this really great acidity. So even though that soft kind of floral, fruity aspect to it is there, it's not just kind of a flabby wine. It has a really good backbone, and it's essentially completely dry. And I think a lot of folks, they look at a pink wine or rosé wine and they might think, oh, it's going to be sweet, but that's not the case here.
I think the dry wine captures, as you said, a lot of those aspects, a lot of the acidity of the fruit itself that really cuts through a lot of things, and you can pair it with sort of lighter fare or even something that might be a little heavier, but you want to keep in mind that you don't want to overpower the wine itself.
Sure. And here, don't you really recommend pairing it with your tomato salad?
I absolutely do, but I also get the tomato salad any chance I can, especially at the peak of season right now. And the rosé with that tomato salad is it's a perfect match. You can't beat it.
So now should we try it's actually the Reserve 2015 Chambourcin.
Yeah, and so Reserve is something that we at Chaumette use just to denote oak, really. Oak works really well with Chambourcin because it usually doesn't destroy the fruit. It just adds another layer to it. And so on top of the raspberry, strawberry, whatever you happen to get, it can add just another dimension, a sort of caramelized note.
It's got that beautiful, lively fruit, and that's characteristic of Chambourcin. That's one of the things that makes it such a wonderful grape to work with.
Right. So Chef has actually said that Chambourcin goes with just about anything. It's just a very accessible wine. But the pork chop, especially with the romesco sauce on top, is something that Chambourcin helps kind of bring to life. Whether it's 100 degrees out or 40 degrees out, it just works.
I love Chambourcin from all over the place, quite frankly, but I definitely like Missouri Chambourcin. I think there's some fantastic versions of Chambourcin here. And I love showing it when people are like, yeah, I don't like the red wines here. I'm like, yeah, drink this, because they will.
To learn more about the Chambourcin grape and Chaumette Vineyards and Winery, as well as all of the other incredible wineries here in Missouri, just head to MissouriWine.org. Thanks for joining me here in St. Genevieve County, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.